What's going on, guys? Pepper Bell here, bringing you some more Chivalry Medieval Warfare, and I am playing Team Objective on the Darkforest map, I believe it is. This is the one I meant to say in the last video, where you start off by pushing a cart full of corpses. Yeah, buddy, if that's not medieval enough for you, I don't know what is. And you push a body full of corpses, and you have to, like, poison their water supply by pushing it into their water supply. And, then you fight in their water supply shortly afterwards and have to capture 2, like, torch thingamajigs. I don't really know that one. I've never actually really done that objective because I'm too busy killing everyone in the water filled with poisonous blood and decay and awesomeness. And then after that, you have to go assault the main castle area by crossing a bridge or a partly destroyed tree. And when you go over there, there is, like, 3 places you have to breach by, like, banging down, you know, the walls. They're like cheap wooden, like 2x4s used to, like, protect the families that live there, and you basically just go in there and kill everyone. It's kind of great because I'm pretty sure I kill a shit ton of them. And I remember in this video I go in there and, like, slaughter a whole room by myself full of the Family Guy. So Family Guy, ha, no, but you know, of all the entire family. So you guys are gonna enjoy that. Plus that decapitation was quite sweet, if you ask me. And basically, another problem with this map that I only see occur on this map specifically is you can see, like, normally, like I said, I edit, like, things like this out, but this only happens for this specific map, so I'm not entirely sure, and you actually see it in the game too. So when I say, like, I edit things out like that, it's usually because on my end when I'm playing it, there's nothing there, but when I record the video, there's, like, a little bit of border type things going around. You can see, like, the yellow outline on the bottom right and left, or the bottom and the right, I mean. And basically, that's always there for this map. That doesn't show up for any other map. It's only this one, so I'm not sure what's causing that issue. That's basically an issue that the developers have to work with, figure out what's going on there, because I'm not really, I'm not, a developer. I don't know how to do all this kind of crazy shit. I wish I did, because then I'd make video games myself, but, I don't know that, so I'm going to stick to what I know, and, shit in my own pants, because that's what I'm good at. But basically, that's... like, this map, Team Objective, I don't know why people don't play this more often, because honestly, like, everyone's like, I want to play free-for-all, or I want to play Last Team Standing, which, I know someone commented, he's like, yo, man, play some Last Team Standing, and I will record some gameplay, because I plan on getting at least a minimum of every game type recorded at least once. That's what I do for every game, usually. If people are playing it, of course, I try to get, like, a game type, I try to record a game type, like, any game I'm actually playing, like, regularly, I'll try to record, like, every game type, and I'm definitely going to do it for Chivalry, there's no doubt. So, basically, yeah, I don't see why people don't play play Team Objective more often, because that's the core of the game to me. Like, it's a lot of fun to sit there and be like, I have to push a card or do a very specific objective. The battles tend to feel different when you're playing a Team Objective game. Like, when I'm going in a free-for-all, it just seems like I'm dueling people all the time. Like, it doesn't actually... to me, free-for-all isn't even that fun to begin with, because there's way too many people that are, like, douchebags, and although you'll be fighting someone, then someone will kind of just come up behind you and be like, haha, stab you in the back while you're, like, duking it out with someone, and, like, that happens all the time. That's, like, one of the main reasons I die, not because I'm dueling with someone, just because someone, like, takes a cheap shot at me from behind while I'm too busy preoccupied parrying, like, 13 other people's fucking swings, right? So then one guy comes up... So a free-for-all is kind of like a clusterfuck of just, like swords swinging everywhere. Like, if I had the ability to, I'd just, like, whip it across the arena. Like, just take my sword, just kind of throw it, so it's doing, like, a boomerang effect, and just, like, chops everyone's head off, because, like, that's the only reason why I can really... That's the only real way I can see you guys is just fucking killing everything. Because, playing a man-at-arms in free-for-all to me seems like a better choice because you're quicker. Not to mention oil pots, burn things, very fun to do, especially when there's, like, a group of, like, 2 people fighting and you're like, yeah, well, I'm gonna be a dick too and throw the fucking oil pot in the middle of, like, the 3 of you guys duking it out, and you're all gonna catch on fire, and I might kill, like, 2 or 3 of you guys, and then go in and lop off the last guy's head. And then, like, yeah, take that, society. Like... Because that's all they do. They just sit there and they're like, oh, I'm going to, like, intervene with this guy fighting because that's the only way I can kill people because I'm unskilled, or I'm too lazy to, I want to win, that's all that matters. But there are occasional times, like, I was playing on that, I don't remember the name of the maps, I gotta memorize them, but it's like palm trees and it's all, like, nice, and it's, like, kind of in a desert area, and anyway, basically, we were playing on that and eventually people were like, you know what? I want to do like just duels, and pretty much they decide like stop intervening, stop like interfering with people like doing a duel, let them duel it out and stuff. Like don't jump in, and then people actually started doing that. Like where I had my little spot, people had their spots, and then they would come up to you, and then you just look at each other and you challenge each other, and then you fight it out. And it's actually really cool because, well, I won all the time. No, but not just that. But I mean like. It was actually really fun and challenging to play against some of these guys because they're really good. Like, when you're actually in a duel, the intensity kind of increases a bit because, I mean, you don't have your team to back you up. You got no one but you and your skills to actually make you win. And look at this. This is what I mean. Like, this is hilarious. I end up pushing the cart, like, halfway there, and I have no idea what's going on. I'm just like, yeah, buddy, single-handedly gonna poison your water supply, and you guys don't even know it. Yeah, see, and they go and run away. I was laughing so hard when I saw that. I thought they were gonna like turn around and see me and like, oh shit, fuck, you know. But no, they just like they run away, and I'm sitting here like, haha, all right. So I'm making weird battle cries and gestures to get their attention, which was a huge mistake because now I get fucking killed. You're gonna see shortly. I'm like, oh, one guy, I can take him, and then like, oh no, another guy. Oh crap, I'm pinned in the corner, and then like I die, and there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. I'm like, oh, this was a mistake. But, like, where's my teammates? I don't know. Like, that's what I mean. Like, people need to actually get into the objective. Now, it's only really this game type that people don't really tend to do the objectives. Like, not this game type. I mean this map, because people are kind of just, like, too busy fighting. And it's really easy to forget, though, because you got to remember the objective, it's really easy to forget, because I do sometimes myself. I'll be too busy, like, chopping people up and trying to, like, win the battles, not realizing that, wait a minute, I should probably, like, do the objective, because this is, like, exactly what, they're doing a good job. They're stalling us by, distracting us into fighting them, and that's another tactic that can easily be used, and it works quite well, so, that's what they do. And they usually succeed that way, but then there's always that one guy like me. I was that one guy this time where I was kind of like thinking in the back of my head, I'm like, well, while they're distracted, I'm going to flank around, just going, because they're just as distracted as we are, right? So I'm like, boom, carry the freaking thing halfway there, and there you go. It worked out great. So this game really has a lot of potential. I'm telling you right now, probably one of the greatest games ever. And I'd said that like 1,000 times, in every single video I had to say it at least once. It's a requirement. It's like my obligation to this game. I have to be like, this game's great. Minimum once a video. But, like, I'm telling you, you like, this game is a very challenging game. I have raged a few times playing it, not gonna lie. And that only tends to happen to me. Like, I notice I have a trend where every time I start playing a game that I never played before, or I haven't played in a very long time, like when I got Gears of War 3 for the first time, I was like, oh, this is fantastic. Like, me dying, I thought was so much fun. Like, I didn't care if I died. I was, like, enjoying it way too much. Like, getting exploded and like my head shot off and like caught on fire and getting a spike to the face or like anything, it was like so much fun. I'm like, oh, this is great. But then once I start getting the hang of the game, then I get way too competitive. So if I start like losing a lot, then I'm like, god damn it, and like punch a baby in the face, like, and like the campaign there. If you guys have seen that movie, just wail on a baby's face. Minus actually doing that, because that's just horrible. I'd go to prison for that. But ooh, yes. Decapitations. There's actually a lot of decapitations going on in this game, you'll see, in this particular match. But, yeah, so that's kind of something I noticed about myself. But I try not to rage, because I hate doing it, honestly. Like, sometimes I rage for fun, like, because it's entertaining to just be like, what the frick? Just get, like, angry, but in a joking way, like, because you're mocking those people who get really angry at nothing. I tend to do that a lot. I'll always pretend I'm, like, super angry, because people get really angry sometimes. Like, when I'm angry, you'll know. But I mean, when some people are like, you'll see internet videos. Like, I remember watching Halo 2 Rager or whatever way back in the day. Like, it was the funniest thing ever. He had like fucking Pepsi cans all over his room and like axe sitting on his TV, and like he's just the biggest typical douchebag ever. And he's just like, what the fuck? And like, punching his TV and shit. So like, I tend to like to make fun of stuff like that. When I see people rage, it makes me laugh really hard, especially when I'm the one making them rage. It's hilarious. It's like the most rewarding experience ever. Like when they're causing physical pain upon themselves by like giving them a near heart attack or a blood clot in their brain because you pissed them off enough. Like, that you can, I don't know. It's just, to me, I find it absolutely hilarious. So the next thing I want to talk about while I smash that guy and go after him. Oh yeah, this is the nice kill right here. I cut off his arm, and then I cut off his head. Like, it's just beautiful. Like, I don't even know what's gonna happen. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Cut off his arm. There it is. His arm, then his head. Look at that. Look at that. It's like a double whammy. But basically, I want to talk about the classes now. There's a lot of controversy on that, because it is the beta, right? So people are like, we need to figure out more balancing issues and kind of get more in-depth with that. In my opinion, they're pretty much solid as they are right now. Like, I mean, like, people were like, the men-at-arms, they're not good enough. Like, they're too overpowered, or then there's people saying the men-at-arms are underpowered and the knights are overpowered. Like, really? It just depends on how good you are with the class. Like, you can't just be like, oh, they're overpowered because they take a fuck ton of damage. Well, that's what the knight's purpose is. You know, like, they're supposed to take, they're tanks. They're supposed to, like, I mean, look at this guy in front of me right now. Look at all the fucking armor he has on him. You really expect me to just kill him by pinching his fucking nipple and he's just like, ugh, oh god, no, stop, and then just keels over and dies? Like, that's not gonna happen. You have to fucking wail on him until he freaking dies, you know? It's just, same with the vanguards. Like, it's not gonna be that easy to take them out. They have moderate armor, but you can still do quite a bit of damage to them. And, oh my god, so much heads flying everywhere. And like, that's the thing I noticed about, and then men at arms, people are like, they can get too close too easily. That's not true. Now, the thing I've noticed, especially while playing against Tiberius Bane, I've learned a lot from him, kind of just watching the way he attacks me. He takes advantage of the fact that if you're a really slow, and you can probably correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, like, I noticed that if you're like a slower player, so I don't mean like you're a slow learner or whatever, I mean like you're playing as a vanguard or you're playing as a knight where your weapons are like really slow to swing. He'll take advantage of those in between your swings. And I tend to do that a lot when I'm a vanguard playing against any characters. Well, I see them, especially at night, because holy shit, when you have the spear or something, you can jab him from far away as he's like as he's just finishing his swing. Like, you can back up and then slowly walk forward and jab him. And I can do that repeatedly, and the guy's like, well, what the fuck? And he has no idea how to beat me. Or he just doesn't really realize that he should be blocking right now. Because the spear is a very hard weapon to judge. Like, I've noticed when you look at it, it's very hard to tell if whether or not it's actually, like, moving at you to kill you. Because it's a very, you know, it's already straight and pointy, right? You're not seeing it swing anywhere. You kind of just, you can't really tell if the guy's walking forward or walking backwards, or he's actually jabbing, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like one of those trickster weapons where you're just like, you have to be on your guard all the time, because I mean, a spear is definitely not an easy weapon to handle. It doesn't do that much damage, but it does definitely fuck with your mind while you're in a fight, and it's a faster weapon, so they can keep jabbing you over and over again. You gotta be very cautious when you do it, but the best way I've always overcome that is just run on top of the guy pretty much, just to, like, you know, hammer his face in before he can really do anything. But basically, the man-at-arms dodging, I had a little mistake where I was always in games like, my dodge isn't working, Tiberius somehow tell me how to fix this, and it was my own fault, actually, because the double tap thing and the input, I lowered that all the way, and I don't know why. I thought, like, that had to do with clicking for some reason. I was like, yeah, man, now I can, like, combo even easier, right? I was thinking, biggest mistake ever, because then I couldn't dodge, and I realized that after a while I was like, oh my god, I'm an idiot. Double tap is for how fast you double tap in each direction to do a dodge, how fast you need to press it. So then I, of course, put it back to its default, and then I was able to dodge again. I was like, wow, I feel like a complete fucking retard now. And dodging actually really helps. It makes combat very interesting, because I've actually seen, like, I was going back on what Tiberius was doing to me, like, I noticed there was actually a few moments where if I had a launch, like, you know, a situation like this, he would actually, like, as I'm swinging, he would dodge backwards, and as soon as my swing pulled through and I was just starting to recover, he dodged forward and lopped my head off, like, pretty quickly. And I mean, like, the man-at-arms, like the MMA, whatever you want to call it, it's a character that's very skill-intensive. You can't just play that character and be like, you know, the knight is probably the easiest one to start the game off with if you haven't played. The vanguards, if you want to be a little bit more defensive, more, like, long, kind of whatever, but basically the MMA is probably the more difficult, the man-at-arms, the more difficult class to master, because it's just a dodge mechanic and how you can play the character. He's a very fast, very aggressive, very quick player, and you have to be able to maintain and keep up with that, because if you don't, you're pretty much screwed, and there's nothing you can really do about it, because, you know, like, people can just easily take a one blow at you like that, kind of. He's not an MMA, but he's an archer, but I mean, like, just like that, and you can just take the guy right out, no problem. And what else did I want to talk about? I wanted to tell a story because I remember this one time I was playing on the bridge over there that I crossed, and it reminded me of it when I ran over the bridge. It was actually hilarious because there was these two guys I was fighting with, or there's one guy that we were fighting, and there's like two guys on my team that are kind of sitting there watching us duke it out. And it was quite hilarious because they're starting to fight each other, and they're weaker classes compared to him. And it was kind of funny because they're sitting there like having a rough time. Then I come around the corner like ah, and kick him off the bridge, and he falls to his death. And like they're just looking at me, and like I was laughing really hard. Like I thought it was so funny just the way they were fighting for quite some time. Then I just go like, "This is Sparta," and kick him off the bridge. And I was like, "Shit, that was fucking awesome!" Like, what's he gonna do to that? He just falls off the bridge in slow motion. It almost looked like it was in slow motion. He's just like, "No, son of a bitch!" And then we just laughed really hard. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to rate the video, comment the video, and subscribe if you want to see more in the future. Take care, guys.